It is Thursday, my dudes. Doing what you love for a living is hard. I want to share my journey with you as a full-time Yu-Gi-Oh! Merchant and player. Guys, down to business. Here's my setup. Got my cards over here, got my shipping supplies back yonder. And what we're gonna do today is do some orders first. Then I'm gonna get a haircut, meet up with my boys to do some listings on eBay, and last but not least, go to locals. Before I start, the most important thing of the day is I take a Red Bull. This is a Red Thunder from Aldi. So if you guys have access to that, super cheap alternative to Red Bull. It's what is it? $3.50 for 4 cans. This tall, not the small ones, the big ones. So recommend that. Not sponsored, by the way. So today we got 20 orders and 1 message. We'll just deal with that message and let's get those orders in. So I have a little bit of a system for organizing my cards. My cards are all in alphabetical order and also sorted by rarity. So for example, Your Hero Lives is the first card. Come on, focus, come on, I believe. But anyways, we got Chain Strike, Chain Summoning, so ABCs. So it's easier to find cards when you need to. And also sorted by type. So we got all the links here in this corner. And then we got all the fusions here. And all the synchros here too. So it is very helpful. It saves you a ton of time. I know in the beginning it does take a lot of time to do all this stuff, but super helpful. Now I finished compiling all of the letters in the top loaders. All the cards in the top loaders, I mean. And now we gotta put them on envelopes and then ship them out. Let's get started. Now that I'm finished with all my orders, I can finally look more presentable, go to the post office, and get started on the rest of my day. We only had 20 orders today, which isn't too bad compared to some other days where I'm slammed with 60 plus orders. It is a slower season right now, but I'm going to use the extra time and take advantage of it to be more productive throughout the whole day.
2 seconds later.
Now that I'm more presentable, let's go right into the car and straight to the hair cutting place. And with editing magic, I got my hair cut, shipped out all my orders, and let's go back, put some more stuff on eBay, and then let's head out to locals. Welcome to the rest of my hub. I know it's a little messy, but that'll be done at some point. So now we are going to the eBay phase. I have 6 decks available to get rid of. There's a Gridmaju deck, a Herald deck, an Orcus deck, a Thunder Dragon deck, Rip Colossus by the way, and a High Priestess, and last but not least, a Spiral deck core. So all of these I'm going to get rid of up on eBay. So just some tips, quick pointers, is you do want to organize all of your cards in your deck, and also in your description, in your title, say how many cards there are in the bundle, just in case they'd be like, oh, I didn't receive this card. If you sent them, let's say 21 cards in that bundle, all you have to do is count 21 to double check that you have the right amount of cards. That's 1. 2, make sure you have some sort of aesthetic. I use this mat. The more aesthetically pleasing the product is, the more likely people are to buy it. So those are the 2 main tips. And also price competitively. You don't want to price way too high, and you also don't want to price way too low. You have to factor in the shipping costs and all of that, but in general you get a little bit more off of eBay because a lot of people pay for convenience. So if you're selling a whole deck, let's say Gridmaju deck, that would take, let's say $20 in TCG Player, probably less, you can get more out of it on eBay because people will pay to get all of their product from one seller. So let's get started. Now that all of this is done, I'm going to pre-ship them. And what I mean by pre-ship is just put this in these white sleeves so that they don't get lost or I don't lose them in a pile. So stick all of these, put them in the little white over sleeve. I don't even know what these are called, but these sleeves are super soft. I basically mail all my cards in these, and you get them for free pretty much at most major card shops. Either that or they sell you a pack of like 100 of these for $2. Super cheap. So I just put all my Grand Magi stuff in the double sleeve here, so it's gonna be super easy to ship. I just have to grab these two and then I'm all set. Let's put all the Thunder Dragon stuff in there as well. And also with the other decks, these other two decks I have here, they're already in a deck box, so I don't need to do any of that. I do some bubble wrap on the side just for later when I do have to ship it. I'll just wrap it around some bubble wrap and that's easy to go. Easy peasy, guys. So now that's all done with, we are going to pack up and head to locals. Look who it is. What's up, brother?
You filming?
Yeah.
That's good. I played one Dreadmaster because defeated Destiny, and 2 Shadow Mist.
In 3 words or less, how do you feel about the ban list?
It is fine.
I love it.
Very good.
Balanced but flawed.
What ban list?
Don't play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I hate it.
Just absolutely trash. I say trash.
Trash.
I say trash. I'm sorry.
Shout outs to this guy, just got married. How do you feel about the ban list?
It's so good.
Is it so good?
Yeah. I can play again.
So we are here at AOH, it's super packed. As you guys can see, but I have my own table here where I'm feature matching a whole bunch of different tools. So I'll be going through that, and let's see how we do today. I think there's 15 people. It's a lot of people. We're gonna go ham, and we're gonna see if we can win.
What's still baffles me is like the whole mind crush situation.
See?
Where
Right, this card's at 1, right.
Alright guys, we are in the tournament. We are in the first game. If you guys want to watch the longer extended versions of these matches, I will upload some of them onto the main channel. Of course, some of these footage has been lost because I didn't bring a big enough SD card, and also my battery died midway through the tournament. So 2 out of these 4 matches will be recorded and uploaded in full. So I'm playing against Endymion, and he starts Servant, which is great with the lure. Goes into Dragon Shrine, does the shenanigans, and then ends on a board with IP and Odd as Absolute Dragon, and also a Time Gazer Magician. So he has a lot of options here. So I normal summon Crusadia Arborea, and go into Magius. Right as I go into Magius, on resolution, he goes into Appaloosa. Then he attempts to activate Odd as Absolute Dragon, but fortunately enough, I had Called by the Graven Hand, so I was able to negate that. So I summon an Ari Fire of a Magius, and he lets the ad go through, which I think is weird. I don't know if he's played against this matchup before, but I'm not complaining about that. And then afterwards, I use Quick Launch, get Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer goes straight into Draco Berserker the Tenny, and then special summon Leonis under Magius. At this point, I don't want him to negate my Regulex with Appaloosa, so I just go into battle phase and just play it safe. Draco Berserker attacks Appaloosa, Magius attacks for 13. And then main phase 2, I go for Regulex with Maximus and go into Crusadia Equimax, getting a search off of Regulex, and then setting Crusadia Crawler, letting it activate during standby phase, netting myself a copy of World Legacy Succession, so I can return any of my cards afterwards. So on his next turn, he goes into Hieratic Seal, which is the answer because Equimax can only negate in the field, and Draco Berserker will get yeeted regardless. So he yeets my Draco Berserker. I respond by banishing his Hieratic Seal as well. And then with Hieratic Seal, he goes into Amorphate Sloth. Once he summons Sloth, I just summon Reclusia, pop the Sloth, new Succession, grab back my Maximus, and I also had a normal summon Rocket Tracer in my hand. So I just go into Borreload Savage, and after the fact, do 5300 damage, and he cannot break that board. So he scoops. So my opponent starts this game, and he starts off by scaling Servant, then proceeding to play Allure. He scales Abyss Actor, Rising Curtain. He attempts to summon or Pendulum Summon Tempest Magician and Strudel, but unfortunately Abyss Actor is a 7. I did call him out on that. So he cannot Pendulum Summon level 7s. After the fact, he summons Abyss Actor, and he summons Servant, and he summons Jackal King off of Servant, netting at 1 counter, and he goes into IP Masquerena, then sets 1 and passes turn. So I play Terraforming, giving the Jackal King 1 more counter, so it's at 3 I believe. Then I immediately imperm his Jackal King so he cannot use it. So I'm terrified of the IP Masquerena because he can go into Unicorn and interrupt a plethora of my plays. So after I imperm, I normal summon into Reclusia and use Waterfront. Reclusia link off into the Magius and giving Waterfront 1 counter. On resolution of Magius being summoned, he uses IP and the Cerberus to summon Draco Masters of the Tenyi. And then since he used the link summon, my field spell gets 2 more counters. And with those 2 counters, I search for Doggeran, the Mad Flame Kaiju. Then I use Succession and it goes through. With Magius, I search into Crusadia Maximus. Go into Leonis, banish my Magius to summon Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, use Regulex, add the field spell from the deck to my hand, and go into Equimax. I sack his Draco Berserker for my Kaiju, activate Maximus's effect, letting Equimax do double battle damage, and that's going to be over 10,000 damage per game. And that is GG's. He had evenly matched face down, but could not resolve it because it only activates during the end of battle phase. Game 2, my record is currently 1-0. I lose the dice roll, but my opponent's playing a going second deck, so I start first. I use Reinforcement of the Army, and then the full combo begins. So I kind of mess up here and I end up on a board of Gameciel, Regulex, and Borreload Savage. Not the most optimal play, but Equimax would have been a lot better, but I miscounted my cards, and that could potentially cost me the game, but I feel relatively safe with Gameciel on board. So my opponent starts off with Foolish, and I immediately negate it with Borreload Savage, which I realized was a pretty major misplay, because I do get 2 counters from it, or actually an additional counter from it. So I should have negated it with Gameciel, and then save Borreload Savage for something else, potentially, so I can net another counter. But now Borreload Savage has been used up. He activates Tsuchinoko. I'll let that one go through. Then off of Tsuchinoko, he did manage to hit Jackalope, but I had Call by the Grave face down, so I just Call by the Grave the Jackalope. Pot of Desires. He banishes for costs, and then I negate and banish with Gameciel. He activates Bigfoot's effect, and I did not hit the Bigfoot. I activate Straight In, pitch for costs, and I negate and banish that as well. He pitches Gizmek for costs, which does get me shaken a little bit. He goes into BLS, and attacks over Regulex. Regulex dies off, but I tell him that if he activates BLS's effect, I will just negate and banish it, because Gameciel does not target. So that puts him in a pretty bad position, because Borreload Savage can run BLS right over. So I decided to play it safe this turn, I use Borolo Savage to run over the BLS, and then he attempts to activate Gizmek, banishes 8 for cost. Then I just negate and banish with Gamma Seal, and after the fact, he just top decks into Ren Maju, and this is when he has over 30 cards in his banish pile. So that Ren Maju was 12k attack. I'm at 6,000 life points. He runs over Borolo Savage, and I die. So going into game 2, I side so I can go second because I know he does not want to go first. So I sided my whole Kaiju engine. He activates Dark World Dealings. I dump my Crusadia Borea. He activates Trade-In, that resolves. Then he activates Pot of Desires, that resolves. He activates Danger Bigfoot, and I hit his Bigfoot, so nothing happens there. So he sets a monster, sets a back row, passes, activate Reinforcement of the Army. Then I proceed to do exactly the same thing he did to me. So I go into my full combo with the Waterfront. He gets Gizmek back just because he's worried that something could happen in this turn. So I go into Regulex. I had Doggeran in hand, so I go to Aquamax. And I sack his Gizmek and run over his Doggeran with my Aquamax. With Maximus on board, that's over 8,000 for game. So now game 3, he has me start first, and I bricked. Like super brick. So I just set my Rocket Tracer, I pass. He does his danger shenanigans. So he gets Chupacabra on board, gets Tsuchinoko on board. Mind controls my Rocket Tracer, and then proceeds to normal summon Grinmaju. The Grinmaju isn't big, so he just links everything off into 0 Boros. And he sets 1 and has me pass. So next turn, I drew into another brick. So I just set and passed. He just runs it over. Activate World Legacy Guard Dragon. But I'm using it to go to a zone the 0 Boros points to. So he decides not to activate his Twin Twister. So everything gets banished. And I normal summon a Crusadia. I go off into full combo and attack him for over 8,000 for game. My camera died in the middle of the recording, so that final board that you see there is how I beat him for game. So match 3, my current win ratio is 2-0, or a win record. Now I'm playing against Magical Muskets. And I believe I lost the dice roll, but he lets me go first because he knows or he thinks I'm playing Crusadia going second. But I do the whole entire Guard Dragon combo against him. And then I kind of mess up here and summon Aquamax with Maximus under it with Borolo Savage. That means, because Aquamax is a light and Maximus is also a light, that means Super Poly is live. So he proceeds to Super Poly my 2 lights into Mud Dragon, but I still have Borolo Savage active. Negate his Starfire's effect with the Borolo Savage. It also does not target, so I'm in a good spot. He called by the grave my Maximus, and then the camera footage did die here, but basically I proceeded to slowly burn him to death. Well, not burn him, but keep negating his Starfire with Borolo Savage so it never resolves, and slowly poke him for game. At this point the camera is dead, so I cannot charge the battery. But on the next game, I did a swift win to him too. I just did the combo after he used his Desperado, his Cross Dom, his Dancing Needle, and there was one more card that he used. He used all of those, but I still managed to play right through him and do my full Crusadia combo and attack for game. So final game, I am 3-0, undefeated right now, and I have lost 1 due to Grinmaju. And other than that, I haven't lost any games. So I play against a new deck, which I've actually never heard of before, called Rock BA. Then she summons the Cherubini, goes into Dante, goes into Beatrice, ends on a board with Avermax and Beatrice. And now this is where I'm attempting to break the board. So I normal summon my Crusadia monster, go into Magius, and she decides to chain Beatrice to get rid of, I believe that's Skarm. But I call by the grave the Skarm, which does save me because that allows me to go into my full combo. So I go into full combo. I notice Avermax, the only way I can out Avermax is Cyber's Quantum Dragon, because Cyber's Quantum activates at the start of the damage step. So that's before any damage is even calculated. And then I can run over that Beatrice with the Cyber's Quantum. So I go into Saryuja, full combo, Draco Berserker, and everything is live, everything can attack. And it puts her at 2400. I realized I could have defeated her if I just put my Gamma Seal in attack mode, because that has 2500 with 300 buff under Saryuja. But I spaghettied, and that's honestly super my fault. She special summons Orbital Hydrolander, normal summons Rush Rhino, goes into Cerberus, chain blocks my Gamma Seal. So I cannot negate Cerberus' effect because everything is resolving in a backwards order. I can only negate the last card. So now the Gamma Seal is dead. She broke the Gamma Seal board. But the question is, can she out the Cyber's Quantum? So she goes into board load, and she does a thing where she attacks, and at the start of damage step, drop my Cyber's Quantum's attack, and I cannot activate Cyber's Quantum's effect in response because she is the turn player. So that dies. And then the next turn, I proceed to come back with the Borreload Savage. And I ran out of memory here, unfortunately, but that was a really good duel. So I go back with Borreload Savage, smack her for game, and then game 2, we had 10 minutes left on the clock. I went to full combo, and I also had a set Impermanence and the Call by the Grave. I don't have the footage for this, but she could not break that board. And yeah, that was it for the tournament.
6:30.
Alright boys, we made it. At the top. Alright guys, end of the day, I did end up winning the tournament. The last 2 games were extremely rough. I managed to win 4-0 today. Only defeated once by no, was I defeated? I think. Actually, I was undefeated the whole tournament. Oh no, one time against Grand Maju. So, relatively good tournament. And for any of you wondering if Crusadia Guard Dragon is the way to go, Call by the Grave in that deck is so good. It helped me out so many games. Literally against Penmeds, Odd Eyes Absolute, against I think I called by the Grave one time when a Burning Abyss activated in the graveyard, so I just called by that straight up. So that was definitely the way to go. Anyways, that is it. I apologize for my old camera running out of memory. But if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, smash that like button. I know it's cliche, but I gotta say it. Stay beautiful, everyone. See you guys.
The world ends now.